What thing you learn, try to implement those all kinds of things in English speaking. I am again saying, what thing you learn about English, try to implement, try to apply those all kinds of things in practically. Means what kinds of thing you learn, what kinds of sentences you learn about English, try to apply those all kinds of thing in your practical life. Means suppose you have learned a phrase about English, try to implement that particular phrase in your practical life. When you will try to do these things, automatically grow in your English fluency. So I will suggest you, what thing you learn about English, try to implement those all kinds of things. Like you have learned today conditional sentences. You know conditional sentence are part of English grammar. Suppose you have learned conditional sentences. Try to make sentences 10 or 20 about conditional sentences whose sentences relate in your practical life. It will help you so much to think in English and will help you to make sentences in English. So I will suggest you, what kinds of thing, what kinds of phrases, what kinds of grammar, what kinds of auxiliary verb you learn about English. Try to those all kinds of thing in your, try to those all kinds of thing to implement or to apply in your practical life. Because how much knowledge you gain, this is not matter if you don't implement or if you don't apply in your practical life. It will help you that time when you will apply those all kinds of thing in your practical life. So I will suggest to you, I will tell you to implement those all kinds of thing in your practical life if you want to speak in English. So it will help you so much. What, and you can, another things, you can write what kinds of phrases you learn. It will help you to remember when you forget that phrases. When you write those all kinds of things, if you forget ever, that time you can read from those all kinds of things from your particular notebook. So make a notebook and write down those all kinds of things, what thing you learn in every day, and try to implement those all kinds of things in your practical life. What does it means implement in your life? Means try to make sentences. So what does it means implement or apply? Means try to make sentences with those kinds of phrases, those kinds of words, what thing. So what does so what does it means implement and apply? Means what kinds of sentences you learn, try to make sentences with these phrases. Try to make sentences with practical sentences. Means what kinds of thing you do, what kinds of thing you see, what kinds of thing you observe. Try to make sentences in English with all kinds of experiences, observation. It will help you so much gradually and day by day think in English and to make sentences in English. So I am again saying, what kinds of thing you learn about English, try to implement and try to apply those all kinds of thing in your practical life. Means try to make sentences with this all kinds of thing. Means I am again saying, try to make sentences with all kinds of thing in your practical life. What thing you do when you make sentences practically, that time you will understand where you have to use what kinds of sentences, where you have to use what kinds of phrases, where you can communicate, how you can communicate with other person. So I will suggest you, what thing you learn about English, try to make sentences with practically. Means what thing happened in your practical life, with that all kinds of thing make sentences in English. Means what so many things happened in our daily life. So try to make sentences with all this incident. Because what is English speaking? What what is English speaking? What thing we observe, what thing we feel, what thing we see. With those all kinds of things we make sentences. It is called English speaking. So try to make sentences with practical thing. Means your emotion, your feelings, your observation. It will help you so much to gain fluency so fast. So I will suggest you, what thing you learn, try to make sentences with those all kinds of thing.